Night of the Shoppers, Episode 1, Closing Shift. The store began to dream after 11. Janelle didn't know how else to describe it. During the day, Market Star was loud and bright and ordinary. The aisles buzzed with families and tired commuters, and people comparing prices on soup cans, like it was a competitive sport. The fluorescent lights hummed like an army of bees overhead. Shopping carts rattled. The automatic doors sighed open and closed. But after 11, when the last customers trickled out and the night shift clocked in, the store felt different, like something holding its breath. Janelle pushed through the employee entrance with a paper cup of gas station coffee and her backpack slung over one shoulder. The automatic lights flickered on in slow sections down the corridor as she walked, each one humming to life a second after the last. She'd been working the graveyard shift for 3 months now. 3 months of nights. 3 months of sleeping through mornings while her daughter got ready for school. 3 months of telling herself the money made it worth it. It did. Or at least it had to. She stepped onto the sales floor and stopped for a moment like she always did. Market Star stretched out in every direction. Rows and rows of perfectly aligned aisles, disappearing into fluorescent distance. The polished floor reflected the ceiling lights so brightly, it almost looked like the store continued downward forever. Miguel was already there, leaning on a shopping cart and eating something from a crinkled plastic wrapper. "You're late," he said, without looking up. "I'm 2 minutes early." "That's late in night shift time." He crumpled the wrapper and tossed it into a trash bin 10 feet away. It missed. Janelle sighed. "You ever gonna start aiming those?" Miguel shrugged. "Eventually the trash can will move closer." He was wearing the standard Market Star uniform. Dark green polo, black pants, name tag that read Miguel, customer service. Miguel wasn't technically customer service. None of them were at night, but corporate-like labels. Janelle clocked in and clipped her badge to her shirt. "Anyone else here yet?" "Ethan's stocking dairy. Diana's doing inventory. Carl is somewhere pretending to supervise." "Carl supervises like a ghost. Supervises a haunted house," Janelle said. Miguel grinned. "Exactly." They started pushing carts down the first aisle together. Janelle grabbed a scanner from the charging station and checked the overnight task list. Restock, canned goods. Reorganize frozen section. Clean spill in aisle 6. Deep mop entryway. The usual. Miguel peered over her shoulder. "You ever notice how these lists always get longer?" "Corporate efficiency?" "Corporate insanity," Miguel corrected. Janelle smiled faintly. The store speakers crackled overhead, playing a soft instrumental version of some pop song she couldn't quite recognize. The music echoed strangely across the empty aisles. It always sounded a little too slow at night, like the speakers were tired. They turned the corner into aisle 4. Towering shelves of canned vegetables surrounded them. Perfect rows of labels faced forward like soldiers standing inspection. Janelle began scanning inventory. Miguel leaned against the cart again. "You ever think about how weird this place is?" "Weird how?" "Well, for starters, why does a grocery store pay this much for night shift?" Janelle didn't answer immediately. Because he wasn't wrong. The pay was ridiculous. Double what most stores offered. Triple if you worked full overnight rotations. It was the only reason most of them stayed. Miguel tapped the scanner in her hand. "You know my cousin works at a hospital and makes less than we do?" Then maybe your cousin should apply here? Miguel made a face. Yeah, because that wouldn't raise any questions. Janelle scanned another shelf. Maybe they just can't find people willing to work nights. People work nights everywhere, Miguel said. Factories, warehouses, airports. He gestured around the silent store. But grocery stores? Janelle shrugged. Miguel lowered his voice. And why do the cameras shut off at midnight? Janelle paused. She'd noticed that too. Everyone had. At exactly 12, the tiny red lights on the ceiling cameras blinked off. Every single one. No explanation. Corporate called it a system reset window. Miguel looked up at the nearest camera. It's weird, right? Everything about this job is weird. Not arguing there. They continued down the aisle. Across the store, Ethan appeared pushing a pallet jack loaded with milk crates. Ethan was the quiet one. Tall, thin, always moving like he was trying not to disturb the air. Miguel waved. Your milkman. Ethan nodded once. He never talked much. Janelle watched him disappear around the corner toward the dairy coolers. Miguel leaned closer. That guy creeps me out. He's just quiet. No, Miguel said. He's quiet like someone hiding something. Janelle rolled her eyes. You think everyone's hiding something. That's because everyone usually is. The store lights flickered faintly overhead. Janelle looked up. Did those just... Then they stabilized? Miguel frowned. Probably the transformers outside. Probably. They moved toward the center of the store. Large promotional displays stood there under hanging signs. Fresh savings. Market Star means more. The smiling Market Star mascot stared down from posters everywhere. A bright yellow cartoon star with wide eyes and a cheerful grin. Its slogan read, Service never sleeps. Miguel pointed at it. That thing freaks me out. It's a mascot. It's a mascot that looks like it's watching you. Janelle followed his gaze. The mascot's smile did seem a little too wide. Maybe it just appreciates customer loyalty. Miguel snorted. You sound like the training videos. They worked in silence for a while. The store remained calm, still, peaceful in that strange after-hours way. Eventually, Carl appeared, pushing a floor buffer. Carl had been with Market Star longer than anyone. He was older, heavier, and carried himself like a man who had seen too much retail. You two done chatting? We're working, Miguel said. Carl looked around. I don't see much working. Inventory counts as work. Carl shrugged. Just make sure the store's perfect before morning. Miguel rolled his eyes behind Carl's back. Always perfect, he muttered. Carl started buffing the floor near the registers. The machine hummed loudly across the polished tile. Janelle checked her watch. 11:47 p.m., almost midnight. Miguel noticed too. You ready for the nightly ghost show? Janelle laughed softly. You mean the cameras? Miguel nodded toward the ceiling. Watch. The store lights hummed. The music continued drifting through the speakers. Then, 12 a.m. A faint siren echoed through the store. It wasn't loud, more like a distant alarm buried in the walls. A low, rising tone that lasted only a few seconds. Everyone froze. Even Carl stopped buffing. The sound faded, and then, every camera light in the store went dark. Red dots blinking off, one by one. The store felt heavier somehow. Miguel exhaled. System reset. Janelle nodded. System reset. Carl turned his machine back on. Back to work. But something about the store felt different now. The music sounded farther away. The aisles looked darker. The fluorescent lights buzzed louder. Janelle returned to scanning shelves, but she kept glancing toward the entrance, even though the automatic doors were closed, even though the store was locked. She couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed. Miguel must have felt it too, because after a moment he said quietly, "You ever get the feeling we're not alone here at night?" Janelle forced a laugh. "It's a grocery store." "Yeah." Miguel looked down the endless aisles. "That's what worries me." Somewhere in the distance, a shopping cart rolled slowly across the tile. Neither of them had pushed it. They stared down the aisle. The cart stopped. The store fell silent again. Miguel swallowed. "Probably nothing." "Probably," Janelle said. But the store had definitely begun to dream. And somewhere inside Market Star, something had just woken up.